Welcome to Motoring Podcast, a weekly discussion of motoring news. This is episode 694 on Tuesday, the 7th of July, 2026. Hello, I'm Alan.
Hello, I'm Andrew. And this week you'll hear us talk about the risk new car buyers face today. In new car news, you will find out if we've found the greatest car in the world, or is it just a tribute? And in points of interest, you will need to grab your towel and windbreaker once again. But first, we leap straight into some follow-up and surprising, well, it shouldn't surprise anyone who's been listening to us for any time or anyone following this story.
Not by this point, it's not surprising me.
No, but the FCA has announced that they are partially suspending the financial redress scheme for the fact that motor finance lenders have been found guilty of breaking the UK law in the way that they arrange the finance in conjunction with dealers. What's happened, just as a quick recap, is there was 3 appeals against the scheme that was outlined by the FCA. Sorry, there was 4. 3 were from lenders, 1 was from a consumer group, but because of that, they're not going to be heard till the earliest is the 14th to the 18th of December this year. Or it could be the 16th to 26th of February next year, which means that the FCA has said no one is going to get any money this year until this is all sorted and it's been ruled on by the upper tribunal, because they don't know what's happening, whether it will be allowed or not, whether it will be found that it's wrong. But what they are saying is that lenders must go through the process of dealing with complaints up to the point where they can no longer go any further. Equally, that includes that if somebody's claim is being ruled as not valid, that person must be told. So they're not just hanging around thinking, will I, won't I, maybe. All the companies can get on with stuff up to a certain point, but then it has to stop when it gets to, right, now we're going to talk about your compensation.
Yeah. The 3 lenders, by the way, who have been challenging this, Volkswagen Financial Services, Mercedes-Benz Financial Services, and Credit Agricole Auto Finance. Just to remember that if you happen to be choosing car finance over the next little period, because they're the ones who, despite having been found guilty, are holding up absolutely everything.
Yep.
Thanks, guys.
Let's just move on now to new news. And Alan, surprising everyone, because it came out on a Monday. I
know. Well, it saved us having to wait and leave it for an extra week and then basically doing June and July at the same time.
Yes.
It's almost going to happen. SMMT new car registration figures for June 2026, everyone. Woohoo! The new car market, according to the SMMT, rose by 11.4% in the best performance for the month since the pandemic. Battery electric vehicle uptake has reached 30% market share. We will talk about that in a little while. Buoyed by growing choice, sustained discounting, and quarter-end activity, which I think is quite a nice way of putting it.
Saying the quiet bit out loud, eh?
That's really good. I hadn't noticed that bit earlier on, and it is very much the quiet bit out loud. Overall market is up 9.2% at the middle of the year, but battery electric vehicle share remains below the ambition, with 3 in 4 buyers still not switching. That's also a little bit rough on the buyers, given just where the market currently stands. All in all, 213,166 new cars were registered in the UK in June 2026. That is, as I said, up 11.4% on the June 2025. Running through the different fuels, petrol was down 4%, diesel was down 24.4%, hybrid vehicles were up 25.3%, battery electric vehicles were up 35%, and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles were up 24.9%. Now, that means that the sort of splits across the whole month were petrol 39.4%, diesel 3.8%, hybrid 14%, battery electric vehicles 30%, and plug-in hybrids 12.5%.
And that is just for June, remember everyone. We're just talking about the month.
Oh, that's purely, yes, those are all for the month of June.
We just have to remind that every time, because if you listen to what a lot of the noise is out there, a lot of people interswitch the month and the year to date, and they don't make it clear. So it implies something that is not, in fact, true.
There's a lot of people who call themselves experts who talk complete
tosh
rubbish on this because they just don't undo it. Tosh. I almost said that and then was scared that I was repeating a word we'd already used. Where are we? Private fleet and business. Private. This one is a tricky to read table, so I'm making sure I get it right before I start speaking. Private, 37.8% market share, 80,571. That's 80. Fleet, 59.5% market share. That's 126,907 registrations. And business, 2.7% market share at 5,688 vehicles. Private, by the way, is up 12.5% over the same month last year.
Mm-hmm. Do you want to go to the most registered? And we need to make that very clear before we go through this list.
Yes, definitely registered in this case. And number 10 for last month, Ford Kuga, 2,948. Number 9, the Mini Cooper, 3,004. Number 8, the Hyundai Tucson, 3,082. Number 7, the Jaiku 7. That's fitting. 3,145. Number 6, the MG HS, just ahead of that. 3,246. They're quite chunky numbers this month, actually. And number 5, the Nissan Cash Cow, 4,544. Number 4, the Kia Sportage, 4,554. You could get easily caught out with that. Just 10 between 4 and 5. Right? And number 3, the Ford Puma, 5,284. There's a reason I'm reading out all the numbers of this month. It's because in at number 2 is the Tesla Model 3, 5,408 registrations. And at number 1, the Tesla Model Y, 6,765 registrations. Worth mentioning, that's 12,000 vehicles, roughly, registered in the month of June. That is a third of all of the vehicles that Tesla has registered so far this year.
What are you trying to say, Alan?
Tesla's year end was at the end of June, and Tesla's quarterly reporting went to the end of June.
Yes, the earning calls was quite a surprise.
Yes, it was a surprise to everyone that Tesla's registrations and sales were generally positive, given they've got rid of 2 models, which admittedly weren't selling very well anyway, but then they've not really made a lot of revisions to the 3 or the Y for at least many, many months. So what I'm saying here is that you can take it however you wish, but do remember that these are registrations in the UK and not sales. Once again, people saying that this is, obviously the flip and the pushback against perhaps senior management's political positions and behaviour seems to have passed, and that all is rosy once again in Teslaville may not necessarily be the case. I went to the Tesla UK website and I tried to look at the new ones, or the nearly new ones on there, and to see if I can give a count. But Tesla Search does not give a count the number of results, nor does it even tell you how many pages there are, so you can get within a rough guesstimate of the number of results. And it's not helped by the fact that the new section for the Tesla website, if you want to look for a new Tesla, that includes demo cars, which can have over, in at least one case I saw there, 13,000 miles on the clock. But that's new and not used.
Wow.
I don't know. Take it how you want, folks. I suspect there may be some offers available before long.
Mm-hmm.
I strongly suspect that those offers will be offered to fleet buyers rather than end consumers, potentially.
Yeah, but they've hacked off fleet.
Well, they've hacked off fleet quite badly.
The company has really hacked off the fleet.
Well, they have, because the fleets assume there's going to be a guaranteed value for vehicles, and they've just trashed it time and time again by changing the prices and generally behaving really quite badly. But I'm glad we're not passing by Southampton docks next week at any point and can't maybe take a little cruise and have a little look and just see what happens to be in the car import lots.
No, I know that would be amazing if we could manage that. Do some on the ground reporting.
Yes,
Right, anyway, let's move on from fantasy figures, or allegedly fantasy figures, and we will get to the spreadsheet of not really that much doom this month. And I'm going to start all the way down at Citroën. They are down 16%. DS is down 92%. GWM is down 81%. Honda is down 38%. Ineos is down 24%. KGM is down 27%. Land Rover is down 20%. What are we? Land Rover, that's Range Rover, Discovery.
That's the whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's everything that they're actually manufacturing.
Right, okay.
Although I noticed they did manage to register one Jaguar, so jolly good.
Yes.
I wonder if that was a prototype.
Maxis is down 75%. Mazda is down 47%. Now, that's quite a chunk, actually.
Yeah.
Last year, they registered 3,631. This year, 1,925 for the month of June.
Do you think they're gearing up and trying to focus on the new 6E that they launched recently?
I've seen one on the road. It looks really quite nice.
Oh, have you?
Yes. It was in there, obviously, Mazda Red, so it looks great.
People were saying nice things about it having finished the launch.
Yeah.
By the way, that's motoring journalist to motoring journalist as opposed to what they write. It's just the bit I'm talking about there.
Moving on to Nissan, they're down 19%. Peugeot is down 24%. Subaru is down 30%. And other imports is down 43%. Okay, Alan, you've got much more to say this time.
So I do. Abarth up 576%. Yay! 115 as opposed to 17 vehicles. Alfa Romeo up 93%. Alpine up 138%. Audi up 19%. BYD up 36%. Chevrolet up 233%. They've registered 10 vehicles in June this year as opposed to 3 in June last year. It's going to be
the Corvette.
Yeah. Jaiku up 150%, Jeep up 59%, Leapmotor up 1,403%. Springing ahead. Lotus up 177%, Maserati up 94%, MG up 37%, Mini up 57%, Moda up 174%, Porsche up 23%, yay! Renault up 17%. I've seen a load of new Renaults recently, and they all look really, really good. That makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
SKYWELL up 3,100%.
I think you need to put that in context, though.
We'll discuss that shortly. I should point out that is the MG Definitely Not Sponsors award for the highest percentage increase of the month. Smart up 105%, Suzuki up 54%, Tesla up 58%. See previous comments. Xpeng up 15%, and I still can't work out how to say that in a way that doesn't sound like I'm extracting the urine. I'm very sorry.
Well, to round this part out, I'm going to read Mike Hawes' statement. He is, of course, the chief executive of SMMT. And he went on to say, June's performance is very strong, showing EV uptake is growing with battery electric cars reaching their highest market share this year, and more than half of buyers choosing electrified models. But even these record levels are still not enough to meet the mandated targets. Manufacturers are investing billions developing and bringing the vehicles to market, and spending billions more to sell them, yet the market is still not moving fast enough. Reforming the mandate now is essential, not just to keep the transition on track, but to protect the UK's competitiveness, attract investment, and safeguard jobs. The same thing he's been saying for months. And we have echoed that the mandate is not based in reality. It never was based in reality. It was all about trying to show that we were better than Europe. But that does have massive knock-on effects if the government does reduce the mandate levels, because there is the whole other side of the switch to zero-emission vehicles that is going to be put in peril by that, because they have based their projections and their forecasts on companies hitting the mandated levels and that number of vehicles being out on the roads.
Absolutely. I mentioned SKYWELL a little while ago. SKYWELL's importer, Innovation Automotive, has closed its doors due to high level of investment required to compete in the UK market. And this affects both the SKYWELL BE11 SUV, which I thought was a registration plate, the way it's written in this Autocar article linked in the show notes, but it doesn't. And they launched as long ago as late 2024. June 2026 just said its most successful month yet was 64 registrations, which is more than it had managed right the way through 2024, 2025, and January to May 2026, all combined. The all combined number there being 63, just by one more than every other one registered in total. Innovation Automotive said that their closure was nowhere reflection upon SKYWELL themselves, and that supposedly SKYWELL is actively looking for a new partner to continue selling cars. In the UK, Innovation Automotive also imports the DFSK vans. So those are the little tiny ones with the BMW grills. Sorry, the grills which have a Germanic whiff to them, possibly from Bavaria, but are not BMW grills, because that would be problematic.
The problem for the DFSK side of things, so the van side of things, is no one is prepared to take on the warranty and the parts sourcing and dealing with all that stuff. The few buyers that have actually bought, say, along the lines of the EC35, which is an electric version, because they've sold 530 in the last 5 years, and these vehicles came with a 5-year or 75,000-mile warranty, or an 8-year 100,000-mile battery warranty, and 3 years roadside assistance. And servicing was all through the agreement done through Halford Auto Centres, or some of the Halford Auto Centres. And now that's just gone. The rug has been pulled. If you own one of those, you are left in limbo.
Congratulations. And if something breaks, you've got a brick. I was talking to someone today about trying to repair a very common brand of Chinese SUV, and they were saying just how hard it was to get parts for them.
Yeah, the exporting to us is the easy bit, and they are very, very good at doing that. However, you have to back that up with everything else. And I know this is something you keep mentioning, Alan. This is the risk that car buyers in the UK now face is, do you trust this new brand is going to be around any time? We're in Fisker territory, where is this going to be another Fisker where it disappears overnight after you've just put down a load of money? Hopefully you've done it on PCP, so someone else is dealing with most of the pain, but then you've got to deal with the fact that you can't get it repaired, you can't get parts, your warranty's useless, etc., etc.
And it's very difficult for the importers because they need to sell some cars for it to be worth having a decent stock of parts. And it is a little bit chicken and egg in that sort of way. But this week that one was someone I was speaking to anyway. And then there was a story on, I can't remember if it was Bookface or LinkedIn, where someone was having real trouble getting a Jaiku repaired. Months and months and months of back and forth, pointing out that if she'd wanted a second job as a PA to a dealer group, then she would have looked for a job as a PA to a dealer group. Do just be kind of careful. If you are interested in one of these vehicles, do try to take it on a PCP. For goodness sakes, don't pay cash, because at least then on a PCP, you've got guaranteed future value.
And do some research into existing owners' feedback.
Yeah. Are we doing sensible grown-up consumer stuff?
For a change, yes.
I think we are.
But there will be two articles linked in the show notes. One is from Autocar talking about the car side of things, and then there is one from Professional Van that explains the DFSK side of things. Alan, do you want to take us to BMW?
Yeah, BMW has named a new CEO of BMW Group UK and Ireland. Neil Fiorentinos has the choice of all the good company cars now. His appointment starts on the 1st of September 2026. He is currently the CEO of BMW Group Central and Southeastern Europe and is based in Salzburg. He's probably not going to get nearly as good a Wiener Schnitzel when he gets here.
Yeah. He took over from David George, who left in January, if we remember.
Yes. Prior to that, he's also worked at BMW Group South Africa, which is where he joined. He's been CEO of BMW in the Netherlands and president and CEO of BMW Group Asia. I would say he knows the BMW brand quite well by this point.
Feel like he's a BMW chap, yes.
Aforementioned in the show, FCA, Financial Conduct Authority, have to approve his appointment. I'm sure that's because he'll also be in charge of all of the finance part as well, as part of his in charge of the group. He's going to be suitable for that. But with that background, I would doubt he's overly dodgy from a banking perspective anyway.
Sounds like a formality, really, more than anything. Okay, I am going to take us to America, and I am actually going to take us to Nevada. The Tesla battery factory in Nevada seems to have a bit of a problem where they keep losing trailers full of battery packs, specifically the Powerwall batteries, to the extent where this has happened 11 times now, where someone has come in and just walked off or driven off, more realistically, driven off with a trailer full of these Powerwalls. Some have got away, some have been recovered. Sometimes Tesla has got in the way of police operations to try and nab the bad people. Or you click the link in the show notes to the Inside EVs article and you read through that section and you come to your own conclusions on whether Tesla employees got in the way, or is there something a bit more to that element of it, perhaps?
Yeah.
There are catastrophic failures in basic security at this site, which is laughable. But there have been some other things which are quite interesting to hear, is the engineers, once they had the batch numbers of the Powerwalls, they remotely deactivated them so they couldn't be used. They also kept constant searches, so if those particular numbers came up, they found them, and they have found a few. 3 people have been arrested so far. Like I said, they've recovered some of the batteries back. Others have just disappeared. But it just sounds like the place is an absolute thingy show.
Well, there's a quote from management at Tesla who basically saying that is included in this Inside EVs article.
Yeah.
That's not just Andrew's opinion. He is repeating something that has been written. To get an idea of the scale of this, points out that one of the first cases where this happened, it was 2 trailers full of Tesla Powerwalls, and that was valued at about $475,000. There's value in them, their trailers. You'd be trying to be a bit more careful, I think. But maybe that's just...
One would imagine, or hope, yeah. Anyway, do you want to stick with electricity and batteries and charging and bring us back to the UK?
Shocking news that INSTAVOLT has become the first EV network to have over 1,000 UK sites, and it's managed that by acquiring just over 200 GENIEPOINT locations. Those which were run by a company called Equans covers some of the locations in local authority car parks, motorway services, retail and hospitality destinations. And over the next 12 months, they'll be rebranded from GENIEPOINT to INSTAVOLT, and all of the gear will be upgraded to INSTAVOLT as well.
It says everyone who's had to use a GENIEPOINT.
Yes, it's funny how it goes in cycles, this, isn't it? That everyone, they're the greatest, they're the brand new one. And then a few years down the line, we're like, yeah, don't touch those ones. The stuff's a bit shonky now.
But it's what we've been discussing in this year, particularly, is how difficult it is for the charging companies, relating back to Mike Hawes' statement, and what I said after that about how there is the other part of the whole transition that needs to be carefully managed. Otherwise, it's going to stall it even further if companies go out of business. It is making charging viable and profit making for these companies, which at the moment they're all struggling to do.
Yeah, agreed. But that should bring, you could argue that it brings a bit less choice, but it should bring a lot more reliability and quality to charging infrastructure over the next couple of years.
At least they have a help desk. I know this because I've called them.
That's a good start.
And their people do things at the other end as well to help you. I am going to take us to Germany, and the news that came out as though there was some issue, but Volkswagen, via their Automated Driving Alliance, or ADA, with Bosch, the parts and supplier and technology developer, have finished their project to develop SAE levels 2 and 3 automated driver systems for Volkswagen, and by association CARIAD, has finished. When the news first broke out, it was like, oh, what's happened there? Oh, there must be a problem. Look, Bosch has failed. Oh, that was the general gist of the headlines and the writing. But then Volkswagen themselves came out, and there will be a link to an article from Electrive that shows that, like, oh, hang on, there's a problem here, to CARIAD's statement that went, no, the project was always going to end at this point. it's reached this point and now it ends and we all happily march off in our different directions with having achieved what we said we were going to achieve. We don't know what the results are like, but they have completed the timescale and everything. And so there's no great drama. It's just a project came to an end.
As happens.
Yep.
Well, I think that takes us to Guilt Minute, doesn't it?
I think so. I think we have reached the end of the first part of the show.
So those of you who were showing off last week, you all ready to repeat along with me? Good. So it's time for Guilt Minute, the break-in show where we actually remind you that next Monday, the 30th of July, 2026, we're going to be setting off on recharging round Britain. We're going to try to follow the route of charging around Britain, driving once again in an electric car to see what the state of play is in the country and whether it's improved in the decade since we did the original. There will be some differences and we can't absolutely match what we did before, partly because things have changed with the private network, and also the locations of our kind charging sponsor, GridServe, are not exactly on the same route. We, or certainly I, am hoping for a less stressful trip and some more sleep, although Andrew will probably be okay because he sleeps through the day when not driving anyhow. But at least this time we have experience with electric cars and with charging. National network is Charger, but is it always going to be better than previously? We're going to try and find out. We'll let you know in the excruciating motoring podcast detail that you've all come to know and love. We will no doubt be spamming the socials as we keep you informed of progress over the hopefully 5-day trip. 5-night trip.
Yes.
As a consequence, we will not be producing a new show next week. Might have been a little bit of drama about that. We will not be producing a new show next week because it's going to be just, well, too much. On top of the daily update show, ad hoc live streaming, and a live Q&A at the end of the week that I'd forgotten about. We are going to be trying to use the hashtags RRB and or recharging round Britain, depending on which fits best on the post, character-wise. Pragmatic as ever. Do save those so you can follow along with wherever the heck we are from your nice, warm, power-supplied home. Please feel free, all the usual channels, send us any questions you might have, anything you want us to consider, anything you want us to tell you about, and we will do our very best to answer as many as possible as we go along.
Yep.
Well, that fairly messed some of you up, didn't it? Fairly messed me up too, places. But,
looking forward to it.
What, recharging around Britain?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking forward to the holiday. It's going to be so easy.
Don't say that.
Peace,
don't do a Clarkson. Next you'll be going, how hard can it be? Don't do that.
Oh, exactly. There's something ridiculous. Did we check how many? It's something like there's like 10 times more chargers. The trouble is there's also maybe 20 times more EVs on the road. That's actually the bit that worries me, is there's going to be more demand for stuff.
But the hours difference, the number of hours difference from the projected rough estimate of how long each day will take is dramatically less.
Oh, goodness, yes.
Like at no point, I mean, we get a bit close on maybe 1 or 2 days, but at no point do we hit double figures.
Yet.
Whereas last time, as you pointed out on your LinkedIn post, there was 3 days, three nights that we didn't get in till gone midnight to the hotel.
Yeah.
And up again at 7 the next, or out for 7 the next morning.
Put it like this, we're being cocky enough that this time we're booking hotels in advance. Mostly. Yeah.
Or we've grown up enough.
Well, that's it. The thought of trying to explain to a Premier Inn after midnight that, no, we'd actually quite like 2 beds in the room, please. I don't want to be repeating that one, I'm afraid. Anyway, should we get back to our properly scheduled programming?
Let's try.
BMW released images and stuff of their forthcoming X5, which has been reinvented with new class design and an EV option, according to Autocar. Link as ever in the show notes. If you like the new class design, the chances are you'll like this. If you don't like the new class design, the chances are that you won't like this. The reason that I'm not going to say you'll like it or you won't like it is because they've done a really weird thing with the headlamps, and they're now 4 crosses.
No, it's the Twitter logo.
Well, it's the Twitter logo. People have commented that it looks like a dead cartoon character.
Well, there's that as well.
I would much rather there were 4 circles there. I'm sorry. I'm family BMW owners, and whilst I don't choose one myself because that's what my dad drives, honest, then I do feel that there should be circles in there rather than this kind of weird dead-eye thing. And that's what most people are talking about.
See, the thing for me about that is right, that little element there that you just discussed, that's a prime example of they're trying to transition their customers and prospective new customers onto a new type of propulsion. And some have come along for the ride so far, but now to move more, it takes more effort because you're getting against people who really don't want to do it, against those who are very, very unsure. Why don't you lean into with the newer class of design, that's fine. That's the way you want to go. But why don't you lean into some of considering this is all supposed to be about what we historically did with the small grille, which I quite like apart from it's lit up. Why not have the round lights? Considering you can do anything with lights now, why not have the round lights that then go, see, we do remember where we've come from, but we're on the way to somewhere different now. Because the interior is completely, I mean, I can't stand it personally, and you have experience of something similar, so you know how it works.
The interior and everything's very similar to the iX3. Yeah, it's a change in everything all at once thing. I will say the interior, it looks like the iX3, but there is the availability of an extra screen for the front passenger for whatever the heck reason that I still don't understand doing that.
So they can put adverts on them. That's the only reason. That can be the only reason.
But the whole, I've forgotten the word for it. I do have a video I do need to edit to put out. But the whole architecture of the dashboard with the sort of high up screen at the bottom of the windscreen and stuff actually works really well. Looks a bit odd. The steering wheel is still ugly, but again, it's effective. And the whole thing actually works very well indeed. Much better than you would expect. If you like the new class look, and if you quite like the look of a VinFast from the back and these kind of things, and if you actually want physical door handles but in an odd place, then you're going to love it. It's not as offensive as it could be, but those lights are just weird.
Honestly, it reminds me of a Vauxhall Grandland, apart from the headlights.
There is some truth in that.
And it's roughly starting at 80 grand for the internal combustion engine, which is going to be the first option because they're building it in America. So funnily enough, the hybrid and the electric side of things is going to be a little bit later down the lines. Well,
the pure petrol version isn't coming to the UK, but it's a 3-litre straight 6. There will be a 40D xDrive available in the UK at the moment. There'll also be a diesel mild hybrid, 282 horsepower, 479 pound-feet. That's the kind of thing that will keep my father happy if an X5 wasn't too big for him. There will also, down the line, be a petrol plug-in hybrid. Just 6-cylinder engine, 18.7 kilowatt-hour battery under the boot floor, and 194 brake horsepower electric motor. There have been some tweaks to all of that, and BMW's claimed 0 to 62 in 5 seconds, which is just what you need from an SUV. Top speed of 150 and combined consumption of between 67.3 miles per gallon and 88.3 miles per gallon for the 50E xDrive. There'll also be an M-fettled M60E xDrive, putting out 604 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque, 0 to 62 in 4.5 seconds and 155 miles an hour. Limited top speed. It's all a bit mad. The prices are equally crazy. I don't understand how people can really afford these, to be honest, but there we go.
Well, on the electric side of things, by the way, Autocar, whatever's going on with your AnyClip is absolutely messing up your pages. I cannot scroll and have a look at the electric side of things without it suddenly popping back up to the video that's just above it that won't play. But as I continue to scroll down, the electric version will come with a 140 kilowatt-hour battery pack. So that's the largest ever fitted to a production EV in Europe. Okay, I wasn't wrong with the weight that I guessed. It is going to come in at 2,890 kgs for the iX5, but that will give you 525 miles of WLTP.
Sorry, 2,800 kilos, right?
Well, 2,900 really.
So you put 4 adults in, say 110 kilos each by the time they're clothed and have some crap with them. Then that's what? That's another 450, so that's 290. So you can carry 100 kilos of luggage in it.
Hi, do you want this high-end, expensive electric vehicle? Well, you better go off and get yourself an HGV license.
If you've got 4 adults in it and you're taking their luggage to the airport, you're going to be overweight. You're going to be over 3.5 tons.
It's mad.
That's madness.
It's mad. We have to, or the car industry has to stop this obsession. They have got to learn that it is no longer about you can go across the continent on one bladder. They've got to drop that, because I know they have been dug into that type of marketing for 50 odd years or whatever it is. They've got to drop it now. And they've now got to turn around and I know we've banged on about this before, and I'm sorry, listeners, if this is boring you, but
yeah,
they've got to get us to wake up and realize how many miles we actually do or don't do in reality. And we've got to be able to act like adults and go, you know what? I can't buy the car for the 2 weeks in the summer. I need to buy the car for the rest of the time.
Yeah. And
that's how we have to go. And also what we were saying last week with that Shell concept, more efficient, please. Just get there more efficient. And I believe BMW's electric stuff is very efficient.
It is.
But they've got massive batteries and efficiency. Well, if you're so good with efficiencies, you can have smaller batteries.
Agreed.
Anyway, let me move on now to something smaller but still electric. And this is Geely is going to be bringing the EX2 to the UK later in the summer. Now, this is going to be aimed squarely at the likes of the Renault 5 and the upcoming Hyundai Ioniq 3 and the Volkswagen ID Polo. That's the sort of size we're looking at. That's the sort of range type area they're going to be in. We don't know a price yet, and we don't know the full specs for the UK either, because the Autocar article linked in the show notes is talking about what is out there in China at the moment, where they sold, now, hold on to your hats, 450,000 of these last year alone.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's quite a popular model.
Yeah, it's probably quite well amortized, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like it was styled after an extra in Finding Nemo.
Yeah, again, if you go with the Chinese models,
But it's just a little generic,
inoffensive. We're not going to scare you, but equally you're not going to go, oh my word, the design is amazing. It's just an car.
I imagine that any mood boards for this, when the design was being worked on, generally involved ladies, so younger ladies, probably professional as well, because that's how mood boards always go.
Yes,
but that's definitely the feeling I get from the aesthetics of it. I don't mind it, but it's not. Doesn't excite me.
It's not exciting. It's not exciting. It's just an car, isn't it? And that's fine. Most people are only after an car. Over in China, it comes with a lithium iron phosphate battery, which will have, which they offer in 2 varieties, 30.1 kilowatt hour or 40.2 kilowatt hour, which will give 193 or 255 miles, according to China's CLTC test, which this article makes clear is not as strict as the WLTP one we use over here. Therefore, expect that to drop somewhat.
And remember, you're unlikely to be a mileage muncher if you're buying a B-segment hatchback.
I would hope not, yeah. Like I said, there's no indication of the price yet either, but this is part of Geely's real drive for the UK, amongst all the other Chinese manufacturers, drive for the UK, where they are hoping to have 10 models in the UK, different models for us to buy by 2029. And they are really got an ambitious target of 100,000 annual sales by 2030. I'd actually like to try this to see what it's like, having driven a Renault 5. What do they do different? What's going to make someone want to buy this rather than something else that's out there? Now that we are getting some options in the B segment electric cars with nearly 200, just over 200 miles range, which is good.
The answer is low monthlies and some tech.
Yeah, you're right.
Meanwhile...
Right, before we go on to this next one, I'm now going to mute myself in case I put everyone off by making some very odd noises.
I don't really like resto mods. I get grumpy about resto mods. There was one recent, was it that awful Ferrari thing?
You were very grumpy about the Ferrari one. I thought you'd be happy it wasn't somebody murdering a Porsche.
Well, that wasn't good enough, though, because I still felt that they were butchering a Ferrari. And a Ferrari from a time when you could actually name what the models were. SGT Automobili from Italy, as you might have guessed by the name, have come out with a new tribute model. It is not a resto mod.
No, very much not.
It is taking very much not. It is taking an existing vehicle and turning it into a tribute to another one. And in this case, they are taking an Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, which is a car that we both like a lot, and they are turning it into a tribute to the Alfa Romeo 155 DTM. Because when I first saw this, I went, oh no, look, they've butchered a 155. There must only be about 10 of them left. How dare they? What a waste. How terrible. Oh, that's really clever. Now, at some angles, you can kind of tell it's based on Julie. You can definitely tell it's not based on a 155 because some things like the C-pillars aren't angular enough, for example, in this. But overall, it doesn't matter. It looks great.
Yes.
It's got a big wing. It's got air row. It's got swollen arches, DTM styly with center lock wheels. It just looks the business, and a massive front spoiler that's going to take children's feet off at the ankles. It's going to be fantastic. Underneath, what's left of a Quadrifoglio, including its entire drivetrain, has been fettled somewhat from either 513 horsepower or 612 if it's in Stradale guys, to 740 brake horsepower in the Track Focus Trofeo trim. It's got a new valved exhaust system, so it can be muted in normal use and uncorked for track use. It's four-wheel drive. It's got the same Quadrifoglio 8-speed auto gearbox, which has been reinforced for the additional power. It can also be switched to send 100% of its power to the back wheels if necessary. The chassis has been stiffened up by 25%. Inside, it's been stripped out. There's roll cages in the back. There's a fire extinguisher. There's carbon fiber bucket seats up front. There's a whole load of new switchgear in the center console. In total, it weighs 1,590 kilos in road focus Stradale trim, or 1,490 kilos as a Trofeo. I have no idea how much it costs. I don't really care. I wish I had enough money to actually afford it. I know it's going to be much bigger than a 155 and all these things, and there's going to be people who are naysayers on it, but I really like this. This is very cool. It looks beautifully done.
It's absolutely fantastic. You've picked one of my favourite cars from back in the day, and you've stuck it onto one of my favourite cars from today. That's no notes. Perfect. That's it. Just wrap it up. Send it to me. Most of the family can walk. Colour? I don't care. I'll have it in red. Thank you. Most of the family can walk. Okay. I don't care. Not that I've thought about this long and hard at all in any shape or form. No.
The fact that you could just tell me the answer just there.
This, I like you. Well, not quite as bad as you, but with most resto mods, I look at them and I go, oh, that's quite interesting. I like what you've done. I like the fact someone's doing it. It's not really ever going to affect me. I'm never going to be able to afford one. But this, whilst I know I can never, ever afford one, this one, I'm just totally in love with. It is absolutely perfect. I want it. I want it so badly. It's almost physical pain now. I have not raved about a new car for so long. This one has just swept everything out the way, and I just go, that's it. Great. Everyone else give up. Pack up. Don't bother making anything different now or new now. You're not going to get there.
This just shows that we are totally out of touch with the auto car comments.
Oh, no. You didn't make the mistake of seeing the bottom half of the internet.
They hate it. I scrolled down.
What the reasons, what they said were absolutely
mental. Far too long. It's far too long. The proportions aren't quite there.
Yes, there's massive amounts of adenoids being typed.
There always are in the autocar comment section. It's just full of adenoidal pronouns.
Yeah.
He says, quickly thinking if he's seen any usernames in there ever similar to any people we speak to online. Don't think I have done.
Link in the show notes from Autocar, as ever. Do have a look. Do check it out. All the other outlets have got versions of this. Just amazing. Well done. Thank you, SGT Automobilia. Thank you for doing this.
Even if you only do one and never sell it, we've had fun talking about it, looking at the pictures.
Okay, right. Points of interest. Now, we've got another heat wave going to hit a few counties in England this time for the upcoming week. And obviously it won't go anywhere near Scotland because, they're north of the wall. No one cares about them. The BBC don't understand that exists.
Nope.
Before my colleague gets involved and we start mentioning
it's a bit
snow
like
again.
Snow.
There we go. Yes. Anyway, let's go in the opposite direction because Driven to Right, I thought, had finished their series on beach cars. No, it's still going strong. And by the way, if you are getting bored of this, everybody, we are trying to find other articles to spread this out a little bit. We did have something different last week because we were talking about the Audi 80. Did anyone actually come back to you and tell you what the difference between an 80 and a 90 is, by the way?
No, nobody told me the difference between an 80 and a 90. So please, somebody tell me the difference between an Audi 80 and an Audi 90 other than the badge.
Yeah, he feels that's not quite deep enough for him. Anyway, this time we've got part 5 and part 6, and we are going to the Americas. First of all, part 5 is Brazil, and they have some interesting takes on it. Some of them you'll recognize because obviously things like Volkswagen type vehicles were over there. And then, I love the Lodi. I mean, I'm sure I've seen kit car, 80s kit car magazines with some of that in there. But equally, my favorite there is the Crespi Spiaggia, which is fair way down. That top photo from the gentleman Tullio Crespi, who is the person who designed these things. You can see all the cars he's designed, and well done to him. But then also part 6 is North America. And honestly, I'll just take the Jeep Surrey in the pink with the pink roof on the top with the little tassels down the side as well. So the pink and white stripe roof. That would do me perfect. Drive that as a daily, not a problem.
It's very you. The sort of middle one, the green one in the middle is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the Myers Manx.
Yeah, and after you watch the Grand Tour beach buggy one, then you're sort of going, yeah, that's quite good, isn't it? But so there's plenty to have a look through here. Again, fascinating detail they managed to dig up and write about. And there is already a part 7 out there, everyone. So at some point, and I'm going to try and drag this out a bit longer, at some point there will be part 7, and I'm presuming an 8 is coming as well. I don't know where they're going for these, though.
Yes, well, I'm starting to run out of countries with beaches, really, aren't we? Countries with motor industries and beaches.
Yes. Well, do you want to take us to the list of the week?
Well, list of the week is, in some cases, not dissimilar. Because the list of the week this week is from Classic and Sports Car, and it is 20 weird and wonderful Fiat concept cars. Andrew, what have you chosen?
Well,
there are many weird and wonderful ones. I did a lot of fun trying to choose one.
Yes, there are. Always remember, everybody, you slowly click through the Classic and Sports Car slideshow. That is from the recommendation from their own social media account. Mm-hmm. As long as you do that, then you'll keep the wording matched to the picture. So I'm going to ask you to take the grand trouble of clicking to slide 1 and the 1954 Fiat 801 Turbina.
8001.
8001 Turbina. It's just amazing. It is absolutely... I feel the 50s and into the 60s was some of the most optimistic designs car-wise. There was going to be this positive future.
It's almost Jetsons-ish in many cases.
Yeah, like the American stuff was all about the future and it was going to be amazing. And like you say, the Jetsons style stuff. And Europe did the similar. And the Japan was getting into its mojo after recovering from the war and all that, and the help they were getting. But this just looks absolutely fabulous. I love the wings at the back. I love how large the wheels look. And there's almost a flame down the side in the coachwork paint.
Well, which makes a lot of sense, given it's gas turbine powered and engineered by Dante Giacosa as well, who fans of older Fiat will know. 295 brake horsepower at 22,000 RPM. The fantastic numbers back then.
I hope anyone wore earplugs when they drove it. Because it's mid-engine.
I thought you were going to say fireproof underwear, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's It's very cool. Very Jetson.
How about you?
Hang on a minute. I need to get back to it. And I've got to do that slowly. 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, all right, okay. No, slide 50. Other end of the spectrum completely. The 1996 Fiat Zixter.
I nearly picked this.
Did you? I thought you might have done.
Yeah,
but then
I did.
I figured that
did.
if you did pick this one, then there were plenty of others I could choose from. I love that it has Fiat Punto alloys. It's an electric 2-seat city car, which looks like a cross between a motorcycle helmet and a Fiat 500, with a whiff of multiplier just added in.
Yes. Definitely feel the multiplier in it.
Yeah, and so it's electric with a 21.5 kilowatt AC power unit, developing a whopping 29 brake horsepower, top speed of 62 miles an hour with a range of about 143 miles. Supposedly, it was built around an aluminium space frame clad with composite panels, which is something that Fiat does, particularly for concept cars, but it's something that they have built on. It looks like quite a lot of it's vaguely symmetrical as well. Lots of bits can be used on both sides. I think it's kind of cool, futuristic, and just doesn't look like anything else.
No. But I love the potential specs here, 143 miles.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. It's taken so long for many car companies to get beyond that now.
Yeah. But lots of fun stuff in there.
Yeah. It's a really good list.
There's so many that I could have chosen from. So.
Yeah.
Where does that take us? That takes us to the end, finally. Andrew, it falls to you this week.
It does. And we're going to link you to an article from The Drive. And it is titled, Weird Experiment. This Hot Wheels car drove 13,459 scale miles in 5 days. There is a channel on the YouTubes called Diecast Endurance. And what they did is they got a Hot Wheels GT40 in a Mark IV version. So that was the one that won the second Le Mans for Ford in 1967. And they set up this mad experiment where they used a sanding belt to replicate as though it was driving on the road. They managed to clip it down without clipping it down too much so that it could still move up and down and it wasn't pushing it into the belt too hard. And they wanted to see how long it would go before the model actually gave out. And that's where it did 13,549 scale models at 111 miles an hour.
Scale 111 miles an hour, yeah.
Yes. And it took 5 days, 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 42 seconds.
If you want to know how far that is in real miles, it's just about 210 miles, it seems. The only problem they had, really, and one of the things, is that the sanding belt it was running on was, of course, rough. And so it would have been like running over, I don't know, like cobblestones non-stop, like sharp cobblestones.
The only way to have done it would be turn it the other way round, wouldn't it? Or something.
Yeah, but then all the sand is you basically sand away your machine. So it needs some other kind of belt, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still think that's kind of cool. And has anybody else ever been slightly curious about that? About how far you could roll something for? No? Okay.
I love the fact that somebody's done that. Somebody's thought this through and worked out how they can make it, happen remotely. There are links to, obviously, the Diecast Endurance YouTube channel. There's also a 5-minute summary of what it happened, and they show the effects of that and how the car is splattered with the detritus as the vehicle breaks down slightly. So it looks like it's actually been at Le Mans.
Yeah,
it has been racing. It has got all the muck off the road splattered on it and everything. It's brilliant. I love the idea.
Someone said it would make many scale model makers green with envy at just how well they've managed to make it look like it's done an endurance race by, I guess, making it do an endurance race.
Yes. Good find, that one, Alan. I like that.
I can't remember. Somebody shared it on the socials, and I picked it up from there. I'm sorry, I forgot to take a note of who it was. Parish notes this week. Recharging around Britain next week from Monday until Saturday. There will be a something. some form of podcast will come out each day. Right at the
Yes.
moment, we can't tell you the length, the content, or anything, but it's probably going to be a summary of the day, and hopefully it's going to be recorded, beer in hand in a hotel room, as opposed to from the car in the dark halfway
Whilst we're
down
driving.
Lowland whilst driving. We laugh now, we weren't at the time.
We'll cry later.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, you'll be hearing loads of us next week. I'm very sorry about that. But in the meantime, we'll also be blasting across all of the various socials. But yeah, until we start pummeling you with content next week, don't forget that between now and then you can give us any feedback and share your thoughts with the show at motoringpodcast.com on Blue Sky, at motoringpodcast on Instagram and on Facebook, and on the contact page of www.motoringpodcast.com, the hub of all our activities. Remember, you can support us financially via Patreon, and please leave a review and rating on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or however your podcast app lets you do such a thing. Andrew, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Best way to get in touch with me is if you search for Crack Windscreen on a Blue Sky. Failing that, if you prefer LinkedIn, I am there under my name. And Alan, if people would like to get in touch with you personally, I know just for the sake of argument, they want to tell you the difference between an Audi 80 and an Audi 90, please someone tell him the difference. What's the best way for them to do that?
Blue Sky is generally the best way, where I'm at AJP Bradley. That's BRADLEY.bsky.social. I am, like Andrew, also on LinkedIn under my full proper. That's my name. We'll be back very soon, but until then, I've been Alan Bradley.
I've been Andrew Clues.
And safe motoring.